I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I don't do drugs. And when I say that, some people tell me, Trent, the way you live your life is so boring. Why don't you just live a little bit? But here's what I've learned. If you want to live a meaningful, impact-driven life, you have to remove the things that keep you stuck. You have to ignore the opinions of other people, and you have to build a life you are proud of. And that's what today is about. How to become unrecognizable, not just on the outside, but also on the inside. I used to think living a little would make me happy. Partying, drinking, chasing women, filling my life with things that gave me a high for a moment, but always left me empty the next morning. Your daily habits are either one of two things. Either they are anchors or they are engines. So an anchor is something that holds you back. An engine is something that pushes you forward. And here's the truth. Whether it's alcohol, smoking, or drugs, it all has the same effect. It keeps you small and it holds you back from your true potential. It keeps you chained. These vices, these things that hold you back, they not only distract you, but they prevent you from walking out your full purpose in life. Now let's talk about the vice nobody wants to mention, which is pornography. It destroys your confidence. It rewires your brain. It robs you of intimacy. And if you want to become unrecognizable, you cannot let a screen steal your destiny. This also creates an instant gratification mindset. You want things now, so you get it. If you want to stop wasting your life, you must give up instant gratification, and that starts with the temporary pleasure you are seeking on the internet. It won't last and it won't satisfy you. Now, maybe you don't struggle with these things I just mentioned, or maybe you don't anymore, but vices don't just stop there. Then we got binge watching TV. We have junk food. We have endless scrolling. They might not look dangerous, but they're distractions that bleed your life dry. The world doesn't just want you addicted to substances, it wants you addicted to distractions. Right now in life, it's never been easier to become successful, but it's also never been easier to become distracted. Because if you're distracted, you're not building. If you're distracted, you're not leading. And if you're distracted, you'll wake up one day and realize you wasted the life you were given. Because unrecognizable starts with this. It cuts the anchors, it cuts the vices, and it cuts the distractions. Because if you still have things in your life that are holding you back, whether it's food, whether it's binge watching TV, whether it's hitting the snooze button, sleeping on the weekends, whether it's drugs and alcohol, those things will prevent you from walking out your fullest purpose in life. And once I cut out the vices in my life, everything shifted for me and everything changed. Another vice I really believe people overlook and don't take seriously enough, and this is something I struggled with for years on end, was the opinions of other people. The easiest way to lose in life is to avoid looking bad. I will never forget filming in a grocery store for the first time. I went into the grocery store, I went to film, and some old man just started laughing at me. And even till this day, when I go into grocery stores, when I'm filming content in public, some people look at me, they judge me, they laugh at me. And that used to bother me so much. And inside, I wanted to quit. I actually felt embarrassed a lot of the times. I told myself the truth. If you can't look stupid, you'll never look successful. I had to get through this period of embarrassment, this period of awkwardness in order to get to where I'm at today. Now I have one of the biggest fitness brands in the world. Why? Because I got over the opinions of other people. I can't even go through a Costco or a Trader Joe's without someone stopping me and saying thank you for how I've helped them with my video. That level of impact would never have happened if I allowed the people who used to laugh at me and the people who still laugh at me today to stop me from doing what I know I've been called to do. So you have to ignore the opinions of other people, the opinions of people that don't matter, the opinions of people whose voices don't have a say in your life. Ignore the opinions of losers. No one is going to laugh or hate on you from the top. And that's what's crazy. Like, no one makes fun of somebody or no one gives someone a hard time that's ahead of you. The only people that give you a hard time are the people that are not ahead of you. The only people that hate are the ones who are behind. If people give you a hard time for trying to lose weight, that's because they probably failed at losing weight themselves. And if you start to lose weight and you start to see success in your fitness journey and people are like, oh, it must be nice, you're taking this so seriously, blah, 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 they give you all these excuses. It's actually envy and jealousy within them that they're doing that for. And so you have to remember, if someone is putting pressure on you for the success you've seen in your life, that is not a you problem, that is a them problem. And you also have to know this, extreme people get extreme results. So what that means is average people aren't going to understand your extreme goals. So if you have big goals in your life and people don't understand them, or people think, hey, you got to slow down a little bit, you're taking this too seriously, that's okay. Don't expect them to understand. You will look crazy to most people, and you have to have peace with that. You're not doing it for them, so you don't owe anyone an explanation for the way that you live your life. I remember when I first got sober, and praise God, I've been sober for over 13 years. People looked at me like I was crazy, and they didn't understand why I was doing what I was doing. And I would try to explain myself why I don't drink, why I don't smoke, why I don't do these things, things, and no matter how hard I tried to explain it, they still didn't understand. They still didn't understand why I woke up so early. They still didn't understand why I'm satisfied with one woman. They still don't understand those things a lot of times, and it's not their job to understand it, it's my job to live it. And then I think another thing that's important is understanding failure isn't just a part of the journey, it is the journey. I can't even tell you how many times I've failed and I've messed up in my life. I can't tell you how many times I tried and it didn't work out. Winners are just losers who got up and tried one more time. So if you feel like, oh, I keep trying and I keep failing, your goal is just to get up one more time and keep pushing forward, because success demands courage. The cost of success is the possibility that it might not work out. What is that called? That's called risk. Think about it. Most people spend their entire lives trying not to be embarrassed, trying not to stand out. You were not meant to fit in. You were not meant to never fail. But that's why people stay stuck and they stay the same year after year after year. Most people live the same 6 months 100 times and then they die. And nothing ever changes in their life because they're so afraid of what might happen. You want to be unrecognizable? You want to transform your life? You have to raise your standard. You have to accept hard trade-offs. You have to be okay with no one clapping for you and giving you a pat on the back. Because here's the secret. The people that are laughing at you now will be asking for your advice later on. Now, how do you become unrecognizable? Becoming unrecognizable isn't just about what you cut out, it's also about what you build. For me, that's the 4 F's, which is faith, family, fitness, and finance. With faith, everything starts here for me. Jesus gave me a purpose when nothing else satisfied me. One of my favorite verses is John 10:10. It says this, "My purpose is to give them a rich and satisfying life." And for me, faith just means managing my stress, loving God, loving people, and putting Him at the center of everything. Whether that's my work, whether that's my family, whether that's my health. And I think the thing with faith, this could be faith or fulfillment, whatever fits you best. This faith has to be something in your life that is bigger than yourself. I used to just live for me. Everything I did in my life was about me, me, me. How can I give myself more pleasure? But when I started to set goals that were bigger than myself, that's when everything changed. Why are you doing what you are doing? What type of legacy are you building? Are you living life bigger than yourself? The next F is family. I believe leadership is so much more than providing money. It's vulnerability, it's honesty, it's humility and empathy. So I have 4 kids. They're all 4 years old and under. And I set goals for my family the same way I do for my business, because putting food on the table isn't enough. I must actually be there. And this is called presence. So actually spending quality time, being with my family, providing for them. I used to be so afraid of having kids. I remember I was the guy who literally never held a baby until I had my own baby myself. I thought that having kids would stop me and hold me back from my goals, but it actually did the opposite. It gave me the added fuel to push harder on my goals, because now I have a deeper reason why. Family is everything. And if you lose your family chasing success, if you lose your family chasing the next promotion, if you lose your family trying to build that business, then you've actually lost it all. The next one is fitness. Your body is proof of discipline. You can make all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy enough to enjoy it, it won't matter. The healthy person has 100 goals in life. The unhealthy person has just one. And we all realize this when we have an injury or when we get sick. What do you care about? Just getting better. And unfortunately, most people wait until that wake-up call, that red flag moment where they're in the hospital bed when it's too late. Don't be that person. If you're struggling to get through the day because of your health, you can't dominate in any of the other areas of your life. I have literally never seen someone take control of their health, lose weight, get in shape without all the other areas of their life being improved. Fitness isn't just about abs. It's about energy. It's about mental strength. It's about becoming the person who follows through. The 4th F is finance. If you don't control money, money will control you. There's a verse in the book of Proverbs that says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children." And that's my goal. That means finances aren't just about flexing. They're not just about the cars. True wealth comes from how you steward the money that you have. I'm not just talking about the money you make. I'm talking about what you do with the money you make. Generosity, using your money as a tool to build and make this world a better place. I'm talking about creating generational wealth, teaching your kids, and not just living paycheck to paycheck, but living for a legacy. So here's where it all comes together with the 4 F's. People look at my life and say, "Trent, that looks boring. Like, the way you live your life is so boring." And you know what boring looks like? Boring looks like waking up early, hitting the gym, praying, spending time with my family, building my business, day after day after day, over and over. Like, my days don't really change too much. And I used to think boring was a negative thing, and I know a lot of people believe boring is negative, but here's the way that I like to look at boring. Boring equals consistent. Boring equals disciplined. Boring builds. The alternative, living a little, partying, escaping, wasting time, living for the weekend, that might feel exciting for the moment, but it burns everything down. If boring means I wake up at the same time time every single day with peace, love, health, and purpose, I'll take boring every single time. So when I set goals, I look at the 4 F's. I look at faith/fulfillment, family, fitness, and finance. And I ask myself, what are my primary targets in each of those areas? And I also want you to look at the 4 F's and ask yourself, which one are you the weakest in? Maybe you're the weakest in family, so you need to put more time, attention, and energy towards that. Maybe you're the weakest in your fitness, so you need to put more time, attention, and energy towards that. And I set one target, one goal for one vision. And that's how you really live a life of harmony and a life of intention. So if you want to become unrecognizable, the first thing you have to do is you have to cut out all vices, all anchors in your life, all distractions. Then once you cut out the distractions, you ignore the opinions of others that don't matter in your life. Then you build a life around your faith/fulfillment, family, fitness, and finances, the 4 F's. And then you embrace a boring, consistent life that compounds into greatness. Because at the end of the day, boring builds. Living a little burns. And I don't know about you, but when I set goals like this, it excites me. I don't care if the work and the day-to-day is boring. I'm excited about the vision and the outcome. And if that's boring to them, then I'll take boring over living a little any day of the week.